I came across this random wingnut that I wanted to dissect. Now, there's a very specific reason why I want to dissect this guy, and I'll get to that in a second, but before we do, let's talk about some of the crazy stuff he's said. Check this clip out. Late September 2021. Dude's name is Jaron Jackson. Listen to this.
So this brings up the issue of what does a modern-day militia look like? Because if you're like me, you see these godless commies and you're like, I want to them in the face. But because you're like me and you're a law-abiding patriot, you're not going to do that because that's illegal. Or is it?
Yeah, so I feel it's pretty obvious what this guy is all about. He believes in violence, he has a vested interest in getting violent, and he will do anything he can to encourage his audience to get violent. I think he has 100K subbies or something like that. Once again, there's a reason why we're talking about some rando with 100K subbies. We'll get there. Give it a second. So what's his view on masks? He has surprisingly espoused his position on it. Late April 2022. Check this one out.
The pro-mask mandate or the anti-mask mandate is still on the same premise that masks are a legitimate, credible, righteous, moral, ethical, justifiably legal thing for people to do.
Justifiably legal? Are you telling us you think it's illegal to wear masks, or that it should be, or something? I don't understand. This is just, the whole premise of this is bizarre. Keep listening, it gets weirder.
They're not, at all. That's a non-starter. If God would have wanted us to wear masks, he would have had Jaron come out of the womb and you come out of the womb with with the mask on, a 3M mask on. We would have had what's that called? We would have had we would have already had the masks. Amen.
Why are you wearing those overalls then and that shirt? Please don't let me discourage you from wearing them. I deeply want you to continue to wear those things. But it seems to me that if God wanted you to have them on, then you would have come out of the womb with them, right? What a ridiculous, nonsensical argument. Okay, now we know. Thank you, Jaron. Thank you for that. So how does he feel about culture war issues? That's a real question. Early June 2021. Check this one out. Notice a kid in the background, by the way. He's driving his kid, who seems to be in a car seat, I think, in the back seat.
The cat is out of the bag. It's going down. Boom, boom, boom. I'm yelling timber. The truth is out, my friends, that Dr. Anthony Fauci is a godless commie tyrant.
I didn't hear that Fauci didn't believe in God or that he was anti-capitalist in any way. What were the other things he said Fauci was?
Fauci is a godless commie tyrant.
Tyrant? In what way? He has no political power. He's just a scientist that can give recommendations, nothing more.
Orchestrating, devising, building, engineering a biological weapon unleashed on the world via the Wuhan Chinese godless commie laboratory with the bolster and the supplementation of U.S. taxpayer dollars.
Wow, that was a lot of buzzwords all at once. That was every single buzzword that he could come up with all at once. FYI, everything that he's saying here is BS. It's nonsense, and I've debunked it a billion times over. For the record, to our knowledge, the coronavirus, it was studied whether or not it was actually a lab leak or if it came from a wet market like people originally thought, and it was determined that it did, in fact, come from a wet market like everybody originally thought. It was actually studied to see if it was some legitimate or illegitimate means of creation, and in fact, it seems to have come from a spillover event after all. So I'm really not sure what this guy's talking about. I don't know what he's saying here. It's been proven that it came from a lab or whatever else. No, it hasn't. Once again, this is from, when was this from? Yeah, this was from early June 2021. So I'm not sure what was going on early June 2021 that made him think that.
This commie laboratory with the bolster and the supplementation of U.S. taxpayer dollars via the UNC Chapel Hill.
He's just spreading conspiracy theories and propaganda and buzzwords and nothing more. With the kid in the back seat, by the way. With the kid in the backseat. I just want to point that one out again. This kid, I feel so deeply bad for this kid. That they're growing up to listen to nonsensical propaganda they have no chance. From the age of 2, it looks like, at most. They have no chance.
And I'm listening to the conservative talk radio stations here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and no one's talking about it. They're talking about critical race theory.
Well, it should be a tip to you that the most extreme of the most extreme networks, like conservative talk radio, for example, aren't talking about this thing. It should be a hint that maybe it's too conspiracy theory-esque even for them. And you should start wondering if you're the one that fell down this deep, dark rabbit hole. And what you've been reading is complete nonsense. That should trigger a little red flag in your head when even the most extreme people you know aren't saying this stuff.
And how people are racist and America's a good country because insert excuse about skin color. Why are we talking about skin color whenever the truth, with two F's, the truth just came out that it's not a conspiracy theory. The people who are behind the COVID virus, it's out. Gain of function, Wuhan laboratory.
These are all nonsensical conspiracy theories that have been disproven over and over and over again. The reason that they weren't talking about it on Fox News and all these other places is because they're conspiracies. They're not true. They've been debunked 1 billion times. You're wondering why no one's talking about it? Because it's fake. This really didn't set off any red flags in your head, man?
Taxpayer dollars, deliberate decisions made on behalf of ushering and orchestrating the cataclysmic pandemic in coordination with media telling people that everything's bad.
You know, the craziest thing about this is the fact that he even accepts that there was a pandemic happening in it at all. It seems to me that there were a bunch of people who decided to either claim that there was no pandemic at all, that it was all made up, it was all fake, it's just the flu or something. And then there's a group of people who accept that it really did happen, but they make these claims about it being like orchestrated by the deep state or some other thing. I'm wondering what made him fall on it was the deep state side rather than it's not real at all. Really interesting. So why are we talking about him? Why are we talking about him in the first place? Because he's running for Congress. That's why. I figured we'd watch his ad for Congress. Late March 2022, he released this advertisement. Check this out.
We are at war with communism, or I should say communism is at war with us. This war is designed to not look like a war.
Is communism in the room with us right now, Jaron? Communism is in no way, shape, or form in the United States at all. I honestly wonder if he knows that, and the reason he demonizes it is because he wants us to be further right-wing, further extremist. I'm wondering if that's why he's doing it. I don't know. I have no idea what his intentions are or what's going through that head of his. But, when I see things like this, it really does make me wonder.
They're coming for our kids. They've destroyed the economy.
How are we coming for your kids? How did we destroy the economy? It's better now than it was when Trump left. Way better by all the standard metrics. Unemployment is through the floor. Historic number of jobs. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is significantly higher than it was when Trump left office. How did the godless commies destroy the economy? How did the godless commies do any of the things that how are we going after your kids? Do you even have kids?
They've destroyed the economy. They've hostaged the government. I'm a Bible-believing Christian. I believe that the gospel of Jesus Christ is the only way to salvation. I also think it's the only way we overcome. I think it's the way that we win. I know it's the way that we win. I'm running for state senate, and on June 28th, I'd like to ask for your vote and for you to unleash me.
Why is he always wearing overalls? He's running for Senate. State Senate, but still, Senate. He's running for Senate in Oklahoma. That's why we got to cover him. Matter of fact, he actually showed up at Jackson LeMayer's campaign event and spoke there not long ago, early September 2021. I've covered Jackson LeMayer. If you're curious about him, just look him up on my podcast channel. I've talked about him a lot on there, Telltale Fireside Chat. Let's listen to let's listen to Jaron Jackson talking at Jackson LeMayer's campaign event. By the by, Michael Flynn also spoke at this same event, or an event anyways for Jackson LeMayer. A whole bunch of really high-profile big names spoke there. Roger Stone spoke there too, I think. I don't know if they were at the exact same event, but they all spoke at the same... But they all spoke at Jackson LeMayer's campaign, either way. So let's listen to what Jaron Jackson said.
I told God anytime I got a platform and a microphone, I would preach the gospel. I care most about Jesus Christ. I don't want anyone to go to hell. If you believe in the death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus Christ as the only way to go to heaven, you will go. Unlike these godless commies who reject Christ, they will burn forever in a lake of fire.
He's got this weird obsession with godless commies, dude. I admit I'm godless, but I'm not a commie by any stretch of the imagination, but something tells me that in his little world, I fit the bill anyways. This is disturbing stuff, dude.
You will go. Unlike these godless commies who reject Christ, they will burn forever in a lake of fire. And Lord willing, we will send them through military tribunals, heels a-clacking all the way to meet their Creator.
You catch what he's saying there, right? He's saying in an ideal world, we would, be erased, basically, from the world by going through a military tribunal and it being decided that we're not safe for society. So they send us to the lake of fire. That's what he's saying. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. This dude deeply needs help. He's actually friends with Lin Wood. I don't know if you guys have heard of Lin Wood, but Lin Wood was a Trump lawyer. He was also Kyle Rittenhouse's lawyer. He knows all kinds of really big people. He's connected in crazy ways. He's an incredibly well-connected lawyer in Washington, D.C. And Jaron Jackson is actually close friends with him and has worked with him on his security and stuff like that. Honestly, this isn't even the worst that Jaron Jackson has said. I just felt that I couldn't play the rest on Twitch or on YouTube. I can't. It's too graphic what he says. It's graphic stuff. Honestly. Tell me if you think I should cover more of people like this. Let me know what you think. Tweet it at me at Telltale Atheist.